Pisces, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for May 30th through the 5th of June, 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, so Pisces, this week we have a new moon over the weekend, which is going to be Saturday and Sunday, and it is forming a grand cross in the sky. So grand crosses are all about the constructive energy of life. You know, it's through time periods like this that we build the foundations for long-lasting things. And so it's an excellent week for challenging ourselves, for really building ourselves for what I think is much more on the spiritual side of it, you know, our spiritual development. And I say that because we're going to be in the balsamic phase of this last lunar cycle as we approach the new moon over the weekend. So it's usually a time of listening, going within, creating that space in our life. And with these aspects, and as you can see, these are all the aspects forming up as we approach that new moon over the weekend. It's more on the spiritual developmental side of things. There will, of course, be things on the external environment, but I think the real area we can develop and challenge ourselves is spiritually, all right, within. And in that way, again, this is serving the foundation for what is going to be new beginnings for you, in particular to your mind. All right, you're going to have a new moon conjoining up to Venus in your third house. So this is new beginnings in terms of your insights, in terms of how you communicate, how you think about things. And for some of you, you've already been focused on this, you know, maybe doing some reading or writing, maybe communicating, maybe getting into the more practical side of life, and that's all what's shaping up. So this is going to be more so on the external as we go into the following weeks, but it's a good week of still focusing on that. Focusing, learning more about the mind, learning more about communication, right? Exchanging with others. And in that way, it's setting the stage for these new beginnings. So let's go and look at this week in terms of how this is unfolding on Monday and Tuesday. Before we have the first major aspect of the new moon, we are going to have Mercury trining up to Pluto. So this has been Mercury has been very well placed, in fact, or aspected. And this is in your second house. So you guys have probably learned quite a bit this past month about your values or maybe about the financial material life. All right, so that stuff is definitely moving forward. I think it's a great week of applying and implementing all of that, particularly on Monday and Tuesday when you do have a lot of this more deeper insight about it or this deeper connection to it and supportive energy from Pluto. So the first aspect with this new moon is going to be Wednesday and Thursday, and that's going to be with the Sun squaring up to Neptune. So the Neptune side of all this has been in your 12th house. This is your modern day ruler. So with this, over the past many years, it's been about developing yourself spiritually anyways. You know, going within, seeing where there might be fears or anxieties, which are, you know, these layers that we're diving deep with in order to accept. You know, accepting things for the way that they are. And it's through that acceptance that you are developing that spiritual liberation of Neptune in the 12th house, of easygoingness, of, you know, tranquility and peace, all these things that derive from acceptance. And this is a acceptance for how things are. And it's all accessed through that present moment, but it's accessed through that alone time, through that meditative time, and a deeper exploration. So that's going to be important there. Acceptance, really the name of the game with that. And also in terms of what is unfolding with the communication and of the mind. You know, observing the mind, being aware of it. Not in an analytical sense, but of just accepting it. You know, and it's through that, again, these new beginnings can be very spiritually liberating. And it's through, I think, everything you have been developing of diving deep with the self, of the psyche, and applying that same, you know, energy. So it's not so much a thing as much as it's the energy. Applying that same acceptance to the mind and to the communications can really lift things up. Can create that spiritual liberation, which is Neptune. Now Thursday and Friday, the Sun does oppose up to Saturn. So there is a balancing point to this new moon. And this is going to be Saturn in your 9th house, who's already been here for about the past year. So this is about working hard and really taking seriously, I think, the life path, or your worldview, or your adventurous spirit for some of you, philosophy, spiritual studies, university, travel, if that's on the external environment, but fundamentally your worldview. And here Saturn's helping you really get solid with this, work hard on these possibilities and things. But it's, Saturn, so it's taking time. So through that, it's a good week of having both, having the practical, the learning, the inquisitiveness, this bit of a lighter, exchanging area of life, with the discipline of the possibilities, with the worldview, with the philosophy. All right. And in that way, it becomes very balanced, because we don't want to get just too caught up into Saturn in the ninth. If it's too much just about the adventurous spirits or the philosophy or the possibilities or the life path even, it becomes very dense, all right, with Saturn there. And vice versa. If it's just about the exchanging, if it's just about learning and reading, then it can become ungrounded with Saturn opposite that. So it's all about having both, really understanding that these are two sides of the same coin. That what is possible, what is really possible in life, has a practical element. It has a grounded element and a rational element that can be understood, that can be conceptualized, and vice versa. Anything that is practical has to and does have this more expansive view, this higher dimension, these possibilities with it, to expand the theoretical, the possible, to really lift up the rational side of it. So anyways, that's a good area of balance, however that's manifesting in your life. This could also be involving travel in either the immediate sphere of the third house or the long distance sphere of the ninth, things like that. Now, Thursday and Friday as well, Venus is going to be squaring up to Neptune, again suggesting the importance of acceptance, leading to liberation. And I think a lot of this is not only with your communication, but also in terms of what really matters to you in life, what's really deep and meaningful. And I say that because Venus rules your eighth. So when it comes to beginnings and endings, when it comes to life and death, transformation, bonds, deep connections, acceptance can really go a long ways with that. And that's the transcendental energy as well. Now, Venus is going to be getting closer to that sun as we go into next week. They're going to conjoin next week. So this is the combustion with Venus. So when it does come to the communications, when it does come to those deeper things in your life, intimacy, deeper bonds, whatever it is, having the extra attention with the mind, I think, will be particularly important, because Venus goes behind the sun here. And so she's invisible. We can't see her. So the sun drowns it out. The life force, the prana, the energy drowns it out. So however that's manifesting for you, just kind of being present with it, being aware of it, especially with a square up to Neptune like this, that can help keep everything nice and balanced, involving the mind, the communication, and perhaps even those deeper connections in life. Now, Friday and Saturday, that Venus opposes up to Saturn, emphasizing the importance of balance again with those same areas, and seeing the long-term approach in a moderate way. And that conjunction on Friday and Saturday will be squaring up to your traditional ruler, Jupiter. All right, so here with this one, this is Jupiter has been in your sixth house, which is about possibilities with either your work, your routine, or your health. All right, this has been this whole year, and Jupiter's been retrograde, but now he's direct. So there's definitely possibilities with this. It's all new because of the North Node here, but there's certainly things unfolding and developments unfolding with your work, with your routine, your daily activities, your health, whatever it might be for you personally. And so it's understanding that and find the moderation with that as well. Because if it's too much Jupiter, then we just kind of want it to come easy. And it may not in this. We have to put in that, again, that work, that development, that effort. And vice versa, if it's not a lot of Jupiter, it could be pessimistic, not seeing the opportunities. So know that the opportunities are certainly there, involving that area, but it is, especially in this Grand Cross, involving that constructive approach. So that's the aspects with that, all leading towards that new moon, which again will be over the weekend. And what it's looking like, especially in this balsamic phase, is a bit more of the receptive approach to this. Working on this internally, regardless of what's going on in the external environment, as there will be, of course, developments there. I think, the fundamental to all of this is really having that spiritual development, that acceptance with Neptune, that willingness to be patient and work hard, but within moderation, and to see the possibilities in a healthy sense with what's unfolding in the everyday sphere. And this is all cultivating what is this new beginning now in terms of your mind, in terms of how you see things, your insights, how you think about things. It's a very important, fundamental part of the chart, the bottom of the chart here. And new beginnings in terms of how you communicate this stuff, the mind, and exchange with others, and all of that as well. All right, so Pisces, have an excellent week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.